Hey everyone, welcome back to My Understanding. I want to do something a little different today, something kind of special. So today I'm going to be going over a few topics that I enjoy talking about, that I think I am pretty well versed in, just to give you guys my understanding of them. Obviously, I'm, not a doctor or anything, but these are topics that from the fitness industry I've been dealing with for a long time, and I've helped a lot of clients through these issues, and I think it's a very fun topic and topics, I would say, to kind of discuss about. So I would love to hear your guys' opinions about them as well. In addition to all of that, I'm going to be talking to you guys about what my ideas are for this podcast, where I'll be going with it moving forward, and just all the fun stuff that I have planned and what I want to accomplish with this. So if you're more interested in the information side, go ahead and skip ahead a few minutes and you'll see where I start kind of breaking down the topics of recovery from both injury as well as just post exercise. So we'll kind of get into things real quickly. As I figure out what I want this podcast to be, I know that there are two things. One is that I want to provide you guys with knowledge and information on just the health and fitness industry and just how to kind of take better care of ourselves in the long run, and help us kind of accomplish, small goals along that journey. So I want us to try and break down as much information as we can, but in a fun and enjoyable manner. Because that's kind of the second part is I want to be able to enjoy doing what I'm doing, because I'm going to be doing this for a long time. My goal is to do this for a long time. And if I'm not enjoying it, I'm going to be miserable. And that is the last thing that I think any of us want, because you guys also don't want to just sit there and look at me just spit knowledge and I just look like I hate myself. So my goal is to have a lot of fun with this, which is partially on the bright side. I have a lot of amazing coworkers and I know a lot of people that have been doing this for a long time. And so it's very easy for me to get them on here and just have fun conversations. And that's what I want to keep doing. I want to just have fun with this and just do it as long as I can, while still providing you guys with good knowledge that you can take and use and apply it in life. I don't want to just kind of sit here for an hour or 2 or 3 hours and just spit knowledge at you, because that can be very overwhelming. So I want you guys to be able to enjoy this and then still take things away from here that you can then apply to life. Because everything that we talk about here is true, or it's true to the extent that we have learned. It is a growing field. It is science-based, and science is always evolving. So what we know that is true today might change in 5, 10, 15 years. So that's kind of my goals with this podcast, is I want to provide you guys with knowledge, which is also partially why I started the Instagram page, is because I want to be posting highlights from the previous episodes that we've done that have sparked really good debates or just been very kind of a hot topic. And then I also want to kind of provide information that you guys can just take from studies that I've done or things that I've learned along the way, just kind of like reels, basically. I don't know why I put quotes there. They're reels. So that's kind of like my goal for where I want to go with this podcast and just the fun things that I've planned in the future. So I look forward to doing more of it. And then if you guys have any questions along the way, please interact, because I will probably do episodes if I see people curious about a certain topic that maybe I didn't go in depth in enough. So feel free to leave comments, put questions, interact with the videos. I will do my best to respond as quickly as I can. And I would love to hear what you guys are going through in your lives and the questions that you guys have. So yeah, please interact, and I will do my best to get back to them as well. Sweet. So now that I have finished my rant, I want to give you guys the information that I promised you. So the topics that I kind of enjoy talking about a lot is just recovery as an overall thing. And that kind of goes into the aspect of like if somebody is recovering from an injury, or if somebody is even recovering from like just a workout, just a regular workout, and they're just super sore. So the first topic that we'll stick with is that one, where let's say somebody just finished a workout, they're super sore. How is somebody going to recover the best from that type of a workout? I would say that there are kind of three points that you should be really focused on whenever you are recovering properly. the first one is definitely hydration. Hydration is a humongous thing when it comes to just muscle recovery and just overall health. Um, I kind of went over a little bit of this in one of my first episodes with Daniel. We talked about longevity. These are very similar key points that you may have heard. I just want to kind of touch on them a little bit more for you. So hydration is a very big one. For males, you typically want to get around a gallon of water every single day. For females, you can usually, I think it's about 3/4 of a gallon is an adequate amount. But that's like just, I would say, the bare minimum. If you are exercising or if you're spending extra time out in the sun, you actually want to be getting, I want to say I believe it was an extra 16 ounces of water for every hour that you're spent exercising or hour out in the sun. And same thing as you do it more and more, you need to make sure that you're getting more. And part of that is just because our muscles are like rubber bands. We're bending them all the time, stretching them out. We want to make sure that they're not getting dried out, because that's how they, get tears and snap and injuries, which we'll get into in a little bit. So hydration is one of those things that you can never take too lightly. And I know it's probably one of the most annoying things to always hear, especially when you get home from a day and you hear your significant other, "Hey, have you drinking water today?" It's like, fine. But it is that important. It is that important to make sure you are doing on a daily basis. The other big one is sleep. So sleep is another really key thing to do if you want to recover properly. Just because when you are going to sleep, you have your different stages which affect your body in different ways. So typically what you'll hear people say is around 7 to 9 hours of sleep is adequate. And part of that reason is just because your body goes through different stages of sleep. You have your light sleep, your REM sleep, and your deep sleep are the three main ones. And so when you're in each of those stages, your body is doing something a little bit different. Plus, your body has what you've heard is like your circadian rhythm. It's used to waking up at a certain time and going to sleep at a certain time. And so the more that you kind of veer off of that, the more your body gets thrown into this like limbo of like, okay, hey, we're supposed to be sleeping, but we're not. So the quality of your sleep in those three stages get interrupted a little bit differently when you do that. Your deep sleep, that's known as your physically restorative state. So when you're going to sleep and you enter into that deep sleep state, that's where your body's like, okay, our muscles are starting to recover. And so that is a very important thing, because you're letting your body like, okay, it's actually healing at that point. The nutrients from the food that you've eaten are entering into your system and helping your muscle recover from all the strain that you put on. And then you have your REM sleep, which is your mentally restorative sleep, helping you kind of prep for the next day. And then your light sleep is actually what kind of helps get your body prepped to enter into each of those states. So you tend to have a lot more light sleep than you do REM and deep. But it is still just as important. Now, the reason I think that the range is 7 to 9 hours is partially because during that time, you also will wake up for a few minutes here and there. Your mind kind of mentally wakes up a little bit. And I consider that just as like hey, throughout time, we've self-preservation, I guess is the best way to put it. Is like, hey, it's our body waking up, making sure, okay, hey, is everything good? Cool, back to sleep. That's kind of the way that I like to put it, because everyone does wake up at least a little bit throughout the night. Some people more than others. It really depends on how well you're taking care of yourself. Again, hydration, and then also nutrition, which we'll be touching on here in just a moment. But yeah, so getting that 7 to 9 hours of sleep is very important, because during those wake up times, I'll use myself for an example. Over the past few nights, I use a Whoop to kind of track just like my daily exercise, my strain, and then how my sleep is going. I tend to have around an hour of wake time per night. Now, that's not all in one sitting. Like I mentioned, it's kind of broken up throughout the night. Part of it is because I have animals that come in and like to jump on me, and so I end up just getting woken up. And so, again, that 7 to 9 hours is there because if, let's say, I'm sleeping for 8 hours, but I have an hour of wake time, even though your body still has a little bit, it's rest, it's in a lower heart rate zone, your body is kind of lulled and recovering, you're not getting that REM, that deep or that light sleep, which is just more beneficial for your body. So even though I was going to bed for 8 hours, I only got that 7 hours of sleep. So when you're going to bed for 7 hours, you might not be getting that full 7 hours of sleep, which is why it's very important to try and figure out, how quality is your sleep. I guess what I was trying to say is, when you're going to sleep for those 7 hours, it's really important to figure out the quality of your sleep. Are you actually sleeping for that 7 hours? Are you sleeping for 6 of it, 6.5, or like 5? Because if you're only sleeping for 5, then you're not getting enough. Your body needs more time to recover, and that will then that will make your body just more sore the following days because it hasn't had enough time to properly recover. That's kind of why the sleep is so important in having that range of 7 to 9 hours. So really kind of taking into account, okay, am I hydrating properly? Because that will also affect how your sleep quality is. If you're completely dried out, your body's going to go to sleep. It doesn't have enough hydration to help get the water into those muscles and help it stay loose. It's going to recover in a much more hardened state, and you're going to feel a lot stiffer. So as you are going throughout your workouts every single day and throughout the week, you need to make sure that you're hydrating properly and getting an adequate amount of sleep. And then also just trying to check how that quality of your sleep is, because those play huge factors in your recovery. And then the last part I would say is our nutrition. So the nutrition is very kind of like goal dependent. When you are like either trying to maintain your weight, lose weight, or gain weight, that's where nutrition kind of varies. If you're looking for just overall recovery, then the main thing is just making sure that you get in a lot of your macros and your micros, because those will play a big part in, okay, how much is your body being fed? And then are you taking care of your hormones as well? Now, as we get into the recovery and trying to get you also towards your goals, that's where things will alter on like your macro side a bit more. So when, let's say you're trying to do some body composition, you're looking to lose a little bit of weight, but may retain your muscle, you want to have about 30 to 35% of your daily calories come from fats. But not just any fats, you want to make sure they're a healthy form of those fats. So like the healthy form could be known as like unsaturated, monounsaturated, or polyunsaturated. They basically, you can get those from like avocados or olive oil. A lot of things that have like your omega-3s in them are going to be a very good form of healthy fats, because they're going to give you a lot of the nutrients that your body needs to help maintain like your hormones and give you a lot of the amino acids that you need to keep going. After the fats, the next kind of part that you want to get into is your protein. So I typically recommend getting around 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight if you're working on trying to lose some fat but retain your muscle, just because as you are in that caloric deficit, your body is going to be not getting the total amount of nutrients it needs in a day typically to just maintain your weight. And so being in that deficit, it's going to be trying to pull energy from wherever it can. And a lot of times that's your muscle, because your muscle is a great source of energy. It's a great place for energy to be stored. And so it's going to pull from that. So having that 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight is going to allow your body to get more protein than it just needs, so that way it can get energy pulled from it and still help to try and maintain that muscle or even build it. The next part after that is kind of just putting the rest of the calories in your carbs. So after you've kind of calculated what your daily calories are to have like your BMR times your we're doing great, guys. Once you have calculated your daily calories, so basically taking whatever your BMR is and multiply that by your activity factor, that'll kind of get you your total daily energy expenditure. 30 to 35% of that goes into fat. Put 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight, multiply that by 4, that gets you your protein. And then whatever calories you have left over go into your carbs. And that's because your carbs play a significant role as well. They will help with kind of increasing the muscle protein synthesis. They will help to just allow your body to have copious amounts of energy so that it doesn't necessarily always need to pull from the muscle, but it can. So your carbs is kind of like your energy source. It is the best source that your body will pull from. Yeah, so those are like the three main points that I want you to kind of take away is one, just making sure that you're getting enough water. So that 1 gallon or 3/4 of a gallon, making sure you're getting that 7 to 9 hours of sleep every night and making sure that it's good quality sleep. And then also making sure that you're getting in your proper macros and micros and nutrition. So as we move on to our next topic now, so we're going to go over recovery again, but kind of more of like recovering from an injury. Now, I will say they do actually have a lot of similarities. So when recovering from an injury, one big thing that I've known is hydration. Like I mentioned earlier, your muscles are like a rubber band. So you're constantly contracting them, you're, stretching them out a lot, letting them come back together, constantly stretching them. And if you're not properly hydrated and those are dry, it's going to snap. Well, a lot of times that's what happens with athletes or even just people who are getting into working out is they aren't hydrating properly because, maybe you're out all day in the sun, you're running laps, you're, doing certain exercises, you're just enjoying the game for what it is, or you're new to exercising and you don't understand fully how important that hydration aspect is. And it's very easy to tear muscles in that way. So that hydration aspect becomes very important. As we go on as well for sleeping, like we talked about previously, your hydration when you're sleeping and you're trying to recover, it helps to keep the muscles hydrated. It allows water to enter into those cells so that way the muscles don't snap. Now for the sleeping aspect, other than just like having your 3 stages, if you are not getting adequate sleep, one big issue that pops up is your cortisol. Your cortisol. It's a weird word. Anyway, it affects your stress levels. That's basically what it is. So your cortisol is kind of directly related with your stress levels. If you're not sleeping properly and you're not getting good quality, it is going to raise those cortisol levels, basically those stress levels, which is going to, one, stunt muscle protein synthesis. So regardless of what your goals are, you're going to be struggling a whole lot to build muscle. And then, especially if you're not hydrating, those muscles are just going to be struggling to maintain themselves. So you won't really be building very well, and you'll be struggling to just keep the ones that you do have. So sleep is humongous, not even just for allowing your mind and your mental state to recover for aging purposes, but especially with your recovery. If you're not sleeping well and you have maybe a torn rotator cuff or a pulled hammy or some hip issues, if you're not sleeping properly and letting your body recover and those stress levels are continuing to just raise and get higher and higher, your recovery process is going to drop. It's going to slow down immensely. It's going to take you a lot longer. You're a lot more prone to tearing another muscle as well. So you really do need to make sure that you are taking care of yourself. You really got to put yourself in check, do a reality, and just be like, do a check, do a reality. Yep, that's right. That's right. You really need to give yourself a reality check is what I was trying to say. And just be like, okay, am I actually sleeping? Am I drinking water? Am I taking care of myself? Or am I just pretending to? Because it makes a big difference. It slows the whole process down and it makes you a lot more vulnerable to re-injure yourself. So making sure that you're getting that proper sleep and hydration goes a long way. So one of the other points that I want to talk on again is nutrition. So just like, our muscle recovery, nutrition playing a big role in that, it also does here. So think of it in this way. The food that you intake, that you're eating, all those calories, that total daily energy expenditure, all of those calories is energy for everything in your body, for your heart to pump, your stomach to digest, for everything to kind of work properly and function the way that it should. The food that you're eating provides every single source of that as nutrients to your body. Now, that also includes your bones, your joints, ligaments, everything. All of that is created from cellular structure, which is also in food. And when we eat that food and it gives us energy, it's also providing those micros that we talked about. Those micros are what go into all of our cartilage, everything. So it's what helps to kind of keep our joints intact, our muscles recovering, and allows us to function properly. So when you're not eating properly, all of a sudden, hey, your body starts feeling like, okay, I'm feeling stiff. You start feeling slow or sluggish and weak. And then again, you leave yourself very vulnerable. Think of it as like building a house. If you want to build a house, you have to make sure you have tools, you have to have wood, you have to have the proper equipment. If you want to take care of your body and stay strong and healthy, you got to make sure that you're eating. If you're not eating properly and you're not getting in the right doses of everything, the right ingredients, the right tools, your body's going to fall apart just like a house would. You can't build a house if you don't have wood. That's actually not true. I'm lying. Well, maybe not. I don't know. I've never built a house. Don't ask me that question. What I do know is that if you are not eating properly, your body will fall apart on itself. Which is why, like, there are a lot of people who take, like, tirzepatide, Ozempic, or certain what do you call those? That's kind of like that can be a side effect, I would say. It isn't for everyone, but I have seen it in certain people who do use it because you're losing so much weight so fast and you're not eating. And so because you're not eating, your body isn't getting the nutrients it needs to sustain itself. And so typically people who take those drugs can have a side effect of injuries because they're just not getting the nutrients they need. And as they're trying to work out or exercise or even go about their day, their body is falling apart on themselves. So that is one of the dangers of those, I would say. But that's also another topic for another video. So we'll get into that one some other time. I would love to. But one thing I do want to say is on the bright side, nutrition wise, there are a lot of things that you can do like supplementation. So one supplement that I actually just love, especially for like recovering from injuries, and I recommend it to so many people. I would say the studies that have been done and the research that have been done on it kind of varies simply just due to the fact that like there's no hard evidence that shows that it works. But people that take this supplement, a lot of people show that, hey, they feel better taking it. And it's not like a world-changing supplement. It's one that's very common. It's just I don't think people understand that it can be used in this way, which is collagen. Collagen is a supplement that there has so many purposes. It's very valuable, especially when you take it with other supplements that help to kind of boost its efficacy. So collagen has 5 main different types, I would say. There's plenty of others, but the main types you have just to start with is type 1 and 3. So you will find type 1 and 3 collagen in your skin, your bones, your tendons, ligaments. You have it in muscles, arteries, as well as your organs. So it's in so many different things. Type 1 collagen specifically makes up 90% of the collagen in your body. So it is a crazy amount. And paired with type 3, those two together, it's everywhere. So collagen by itself right there, if you take that I recommend it to everyone because of how valuable it can be. But in addition to that, there's type 2 collagen, which is actually what you'll find in like your cartilage and your joint support. So the reason that I recommend collagen as part of that recovery process is one, just because it makes up so much of the, compounds in your body. And then especially if you pair it with hyaluronic acid and vitamin C, those 3 together are very effective. Hyaluronic acid helps so much just because it is a type of supplement that helps to hydrate the body. So not the body, but it helps to basically keep the elasticity there by allowing it basically helps to pull in water molecules, and then it pairs it with that collagen. That's kind of what helps to keep the elasticity. So that's like, you'll see that it's great for like your hair, skin, and nails. It really helps to just keep your face looking very like soft, smooth, supple, that type of thing. But then as well as for like your cartilage and joint issues, if you're taking a type 2 collagen, it really helps with just repairing those joints simply due to the aspect of like, if you have like arthritis, osteoarthritis, those issues, type 2 collagen can kind of help by reducing the inflammation in those areas. That's one of the big key points for it. Vitamin C pairs really well with this because it helps to boost the productivity of collagen, and it helps to kind of allow the body like, hey, oh, we need to help produce more of this. And so all three of those pairing together basically allows, one, the hyaluronic acid helps the collagen absorption into the body, and then vitamin C helps the body helps the body pairing with collagen to be like, hey, we need to make more collagen, which is kind of an interesting thing. Like, it's like, oh, hey, we've got some collagen. Oh, we need more of it. Great. And that's why there's such a good like trifecta, is because one, collagen is found kind of everywhere in the body. Two, hyaluronic acid just helps to get it absorbed a little bit better. And then three, vitamin C is there to kind of help just like boost your immune system and have the body help create more collagen. So it's a great little combination there that can help with like injury recoveries, depending on the certain types of collagen that you take, depending on your injury. So those are kind of, I would say those are some of the major key points that I want to cover when it comes to just injury recovery on somewhat of like a base level. I want to have a guest come on at some point and go over all of these different things, or a few different guests kind of go over these. And I have some people in mind that I'm really excited to have on, just because this for me is such a fun topic to go over, because I really enjoy getting to help you guys understand how the body works and how to take care of it. To me, that's one of the biggest things. And so when you're recovering from your injuries, and even if you're just trying to recover from a workout, there are a lot of similar steps that you should be taking. And I would say those three, between hydration, sleep, and nutrition, are the three main keys. And then obviously your supplementation comes in as an extra factor that you can do. Yeah. So those, I'd say, are some of the main things that I really, really wanted to cover in today's video. I really appreciate you guys giving me the time and just listening in. And please don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Share with me what your guys' thoughts are. Maybe I messed something up. I looked like a fool. Great. Cool. That's what we're here for. We're here to learn. So please, let me know what your guys' thoughts are, what you liked, maybe what you didn't. And I would love to get back to you guys on that. And again, share your thoughts, maybe something you want to see in the future. And I'd love to get that going for us. Awesome. Have a wonderful day, you guys. See ya.